August 18, 2007, 8:22 p.m. Asheville, North Carolina. A white Honda Civic rolls into a back lot off Hendersonville Road and stops cleanly on the line. The driver is 21-year-old Lily Hart. She told her mother she would not be home that night. Her phone pings once, then goes dark. No purchase. No call. No camera gives a clear face. What happened to Lily between 8:22 and midnight? 2 years later, a small piece of data will force the case open again. The question won't go away, and the car won't talk. Someone made sure of that. The lot is quiet, boxed in by a fence and a narrow tree line. Nearby bars are loud. People come and go. Lily's parents, Karen and Mark Hart, think she planned a short camping trip. She had done that before. Pisgah National Forest sits a short drive west. Bent Creek has footpaths, informal fire rings, and a few makeshift shelters. Lily likes the woods. She plays guitar in a local indie band. She keeps a small pack ready by the door. Investigators will learn she knew Daniel Hargrove, a 46-year-old local who still shows up at the same music nights. She also knew his younger brother, Ryan. Both spend time in the Bent Creek area. The brothers build temporary shelters and brag about off-trail spots. None of that is a crime. The timing matters. The silence matters more. At 8:31 p.m., Lily's phone stops transmitting. The Civic sits where staff park after hours. The driver's seat is set farther back than Lily usually needs. The keys are gone. The wallet is gone. A coil of spare guitar strings is on the passenger floor. A thin jacket is in the back seat. These items are ordinary. Together, they are wrong. Police start with the basics: last movements, call records, gas receipts, and nearby cameras. They do not find signs of a fight. They do not find footprints or drag marks behind the fence. A dog team loses scent in shifting wind near the tree line. The case begins the way many disappearances do, with an empty space where a person should be. One light flashes in the lot, then darkness returns. Lily Hart was 21 and busy. She worked rotating shifts at a neighborhood market on Merriman Avenue. Her manager logged her for a Sunday opening on August 19, 2007. She never clocked in. She sang and played rhythm guitar in a small indie band, Low Tide. The group kept a shared calendar for open MIC nights and studio blocks. Lily had prepaid 10 studio hours for late August. She had used 2. She lived with her parents, Karen and Mark Hart, in a modest duplex south of downtown Asheville. She kept a small camping kit by the door, a compact stove, a top, paracord, and a headlamp. Friends said she liked quick overnight trips, then coffee and work. Her circle overlapped with the Hargrove family. Daniel Hargrove, 46, still frequented the same open mics. He had 2 adult children and a strained marriage that people whispered about. His younger brother, Ryan, 28, worked odd construction jobs and spent long stretches in Bent Creek. The brothers built temporary shelters and traded gear with hikers. Lily knew both men. Texts show friendly chats about maps and trailheads. Later messages from Daniel grew personal and direct. He pressed for plans. She did not always answer. Lily had steady habits. She paid cash for small items, card for gas, and kept paper receipts. She saved set lists and lyric drafts in a blue folder. On August 17th, she bought new guitar strings and a gas canister at 3:12 p.m., per receipts. On August 18th, she told a bandmate she would drop by after a short drive. She did not arrive. 2 missed calls hit her phone at 10:04 and 10:12 p.m. A friend texted at 10:15, asking if she still had the extra capo. No response. If you follow No Body Convictions and Digital Forensics, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next step in this case. Her parents kept her room as is. The blue folder sat on the desk. Inside was a venue flyer for August 25th, with Lily's initials. A spare car key hung on a hook near the kitchen. Karen noticed a new keychain missing from Lily's pack. It was a small metal bear, a gift from the band after their first paid show. Weeks later, that detail would matter in ways no one expected. Someone close understood what Lily carried and when she liked to be alone. Saturday, August 18, 2007, began with routine stops. At 3:12 p.m., Lily Hart bought guitar strings and a fuel canister at a shop on Tunnel Road. The receipt shows a Visa card ending in 41. At 6:47 p.m., a neighborhood camera caught her Honda Civic heading south on McDowell Street. She was alone. At 7:08 p.m., her mother heard the door, then the car leaving. Lily told no one where she was going. At 7:31 p.m., her phone connected to a tower near Biltmore Village and exchanged brief texts with a bandmate. The last outgoing text read, "Might swing by later." At 8:04 p.m., her phone moved along Hendersonville Road, hitting a tower sector that faces the back lots. At 8:19 p.m., a strip mall camera recorded headlights turning behind a bar and liquor store. At 8:22 p.m., the Honda parked within the stall lines and stopped. No one else is visible. At 8:26 p.m., a security light flashed on, then off. At 8:31 p.m., Lily's phone stopped transmitting. No calls. No data. She usually kept location services on. That night, it died or was disabled. Investigators mapped a grid for the hours after parking. Between 8:40 and 9:15 p.m., 2 vehicles entered and left the lot. Both were identified. Neither driver reported seeing Lily. At 9:52 p.m., a kitchen employee stepped outside for a smoke. He told police he heard a car door, then quiet. He did not see who. At 10:04 and 10:12 p.m., missed calls hit Lily's phone. The device did not ring through. Power off would produce the same result. Sunday, August 19, 6:55 a.m., a delivery truck passed the same back lot. The driver noted the white Honda. He saw no one inside. He delivered produce at 7:05 a.m. and left. On Monday morning, Lily failed to clock in at the market. Her manager called the house. Karen checked Lily's room at 9:12 a.m. The camping kit was gone. The blue folder remained on the desk. Detectives expanded the map west toward Bent Creek. Within 2 miles, they marked 3 informal shelters often used by Daniel and Ryan Hargrove. One shelter had a fresh fire ring and a footprint that did not belong to Lily. Detectives built 2 profiles. They started with what Lily knew and who she trusted. Daniel Hargrove was 46, a regular at open mics, and a man who liked control. He texted often and late. His messages shifted from casual talk to pressure. He pushed for time alone. He questioned Lily about other men at the bar. He did not hide irritation when she delayed replies. Friends described him as intense and persistent. None of that proved a crime. It showed access and motive. Ryan Hargrove was 28 and easier around people. He camped in Bent Creek for days. He posted trail photos and swapped gear with hikers. Lily went on a short trip with him in late July. They returned the next morning. Ryan said they slept in separate shelters and packed out their trash. He gave officers a map to the site. No trace linked that night to August 18th. His phone records placed him at a friend's trailer on the edge of Arden by 9:20 p.m. A roommate confirmed he stayed in. Investigators pressed Daniel on his weekend routine. He said he was home watching a game. He could not name which one. His wife said he came in late and showered. She did not know when he left. Data filled gaps. On August 24th, Daniel rented a grey sedan from the airport counter. The contract showed unlimited miles and a 2-day window. Odometer readings suggested an overnight highway run. Toll cameras on I-26 and I-40 captured that plate near midnight. His main phone went dark for 6 hours on the first night. Financial records showed Daniel bought a roll of duct tape, paracord, and a tarp on August 22nd at a big box store. He explained it as routine camping restock. A receipt confirmed the items. Detectives seized a spiral notebook from his garage. He had copied phrases the police dictated for a handwriting comparison. He spelled off as of twice and asked how to spell it. That same misspelling later appeared in a text sent from Lily's number after she disappeared. The brothers denied any role in Lily's disappearance and blamed rumors. Daniel said he cared about her. Ryan said he kept to himself. Yet one question grew louder as the grid tightened: who used Lily's silence to write the next part of her story? For days after Lily Hart failed to answer calls, Karen drove Hendersonville Road and checked every lot. On August 22, 2007, at 5:26 p.m., she spotted Lily's white Honda backed into a stall behind a bar. The car was locked. No alarm. No broken glass. Police photographed the scene and opened the doors. The driver's seat was pushed farther back than Lily needed. Her mechanic later confirmed Lily's usual setting from a June service ticket. The passenger floor held a new set of guitar strings in torn plastic. A thin jacket lay on the rear seat. The glove box had registration and insurance. The wallet and phone were missing. Officers dusted the handles and door frame. One partial print smudged. It was not usable. A faint smear ran along the inside of the rear door. It tested as non-blood. A small amount of red clay clung to the driver's floor mat and pedals. That clay appears on unpaved spurs near Bent Creek. The trunk was nearly empty. A compact stove and a folded top were gone. The spare tire tool sat undisturbed. The fuel level matched a 15-mile round trip since the last receipt. A key detail drew attention. Lily's favorite keychain, a small metal bear, was not with the spare keys at home. Karen remembered Lily moving it to her pack the week before. The pack was not in the car. A thin fiber cord on the rear seat latch looked like paracord sheath. Lab notes later described it as nylon, tan, with outdoor wear. By the fence line behind the lot, an officer found a short strip of duct tape stuck to a weed. It had lint and a hair, too degraded for immediate comparison. The kitchen employee who smoked outside on Saturday night returned to walk the area. He pointed to the corner where he heard a single door slam at 9:52 p.m. He never saw who. A delivery driver stated he saw the Honda at sunrise Sunday and again Monday. It had not moved. None of the nearby businesses had towing records or complaints. The car offered a neat picture with all the wrong pieces. Someone arranged the scene to look ordinary. But one item would soon break that illusion. Police widened the search past the parking lot and into the tree line behind it. They followed a narrow cut in the brush that led toward a drainage ditch and then into an unlit service path. About 30 yards in, a piece of tan nylon line was snagged on low branches. It matched the paracord sheath fiber from Lily Hart's car. Farther in, they found a crushed cigarette pack and 2 boot impressions in soft dirt. One print was a size 11 with a decorative metal stud set into the heel. The other print was smaller, worn down at the outside edge, likely from repeat hiking. No drag marks. No obvious pooled staining. Nothing that said there was a struggle in that exact place. Because Lily often camped, the investigation shifted fast to Bent Creek and the lower edges of Pisgah National Forest, where locals built illegal shelters. Officers, county search teams, and later volunteers swept more than 100 acres in stages. K-9 teams tracked sent into one clearing off Bent Creek Gap Road, then lost it at a downed log near a fire ring that looked recent. That clearing held a small, roofed lean-to piece together from pallets, plastic, and a blue tarp. Inside were a camp chair, 2 empty beer bottles, and a burned circle of foil and ash. To the left of the chair, half under leaf litter, lay a black MP3 player with chipped red tape over the battery cover. Karen identified it as Lily's. Lily carried that player on hikes and at practice when she worked on set lists. Near the lean-to, a grey t-shirt with the Low Tide logo was partially buried in wet leaves. The fabric was inside out and the collar had been torn along one edge. Officers bagged it. Testing later confirmed Lily's DNA on the collar seam. The rest of the site was a problem. No phone. No wallet. No Lily. The linter did not feel like a robbery scene. It felt like someone packed up what they wanted and walked away. This was the moment investigators stopped treating the case like a voluntary disappearance and started calling it what it looked like. Someone brought Lily out here, and someone else came back without her. With no eyewitness and no call from Lily Hart, investigators leaned on records. They pulled Lily's carrier logs, bank statements, and cloud backups under warrant. The phone's last network activity was 8:31 p.m., August 18, 2007. Her email showed a draft lyric saved that afternoon and nothing after. Her bank card was idle after the 3:12 p.m. purchase on Tunnel Road. She kept paper receipts, and those were still in her room. Detectives photographed the blue folder and logged every date. They widened the data hunt. A FOIA request to the city produced camera exports from 6 adjacent businesses. Most feeds were low resolution and overwritten in days. One liquor store recorder retained 30 days. The back lot frames were dark and grainy. A security light pulsed at 8:26 p.m. A shadow moved near the fence line, then disappeared. No face. The Honda's lights died at 8:22 p.m., consistent with parking. Lily's laptop held set lists and a folder named Trail. Inside were map images of Bent Creek and saved links to user-made shelters. She kept a short gear checklist. A packing list dated August 10th included bear keychain attached. The chain was not in her car. It was also not in the house. Karen confirmed the keychain was a small metal bear the band gave Lily. Detectives subpoenaed purchase records from a nearby big box store that Daniel Hargrove frequented. He bought paracord, duct tape, and a tarp on August 22nd. He also paid cash for a reloadable gift card at 6:03 p.m., per store logs. The gift card number appeared again in a later data sweep. It funded a prepaid phone activated 2 days after Lily's last ping. That phone sent 3 short texts in early September from out-of-state towers. The wording used I am instead of I'm and phone instead of phone. Lily often wrote the opposite in older texts. Investigators interviewed friends and bandmates. One recalled that Daniel copied Lily's phrases during open MIC rehearsals. Another said he bragged about silent spots in Bent Creek where phones could not connect. A search of Ryan Hargrove's social media backups showed trail photos from July near an unmarked shelter. Metadata placed the images a mile from the linter where Lily's MP3 player was found. An analyst then noticed a detail buried in the prepaid card file. The activation terminal ID matched a register Daniel used every week. The case turned when the narrative stopped matching the data. The 3 texts sent after August 18 sounded like Lily but did not read like her. They used I am and phone, where she always typed I'm and phone. They added spaces after the number 2. Her earlier messages never did. A linguistics expert flagged the pattern and called it deliberate imitation. Not proof by itself, but a clear direction. The tower records made the mismatch worse. 2 messages traveled through out-of-state sectors in early September. The first hit a sector near Cheyenne, Wyoming. The next came from a Fort Collins, Colorado area tower. Lily had no travel bookings, no gas charges, and no ATM withdrawals. Her Honda sat in the same Asheville stall the entire time. If she sent those texts, she teleported. The prepaid phone that pushed those messages was funded by a reloadable gift card. That card was purchased for cash on August 22nd at 6:03 p.m. The activation terminal ID matched a register that Daniel Hargrove used weekly. Store video could not hold the angle long enough for a face. The logs still mattered. Daniel's bank card history showed him in the same store minutes before for a separate purchase. Investigators then revisited his rental records. On August 24, Daniel signed for a grey sedan with unlimited miles for 48 hours. Odometer readings suggested a long run west and back. Toll and highway cameras did not cover every mile, but timestamps on IE-26 and IE-40 fit that window. Daniel's primary phone went dark for 6 hours that first night. The prepaid phone did not exist yet. It would go live days later and send texts from another state. The defense explanation came early. Lily was upset. She left by choice. She borrowed a car. She wanted distance. The facts did not move. Lily prepaid studio time in Asheville for late August. She lined up a Sunday work shift for August 19th. She left a half-written set list on her desk. None of that supported a sudden multi-state ride. What remained looked like a plan to rewrite Lily's timeline and location. It needed one person to move and one person to type. One word choice would soon matter more than any mileage. Detectives expanded the search beyond Bent Creek and into feeder trails that weekend hikers rarely use. They canvassed pull-offs, kiosks, and trash cans. On September 3rd, a volunteer found a small metal bear keychain in a trailhead bin off Ledford Branch Road. It matched Karen Hart's description. The hinge was bent as if pried. A torn loop of nylon cord clung to the ring. Lab notes recorded tan sheath fibers consistent with paracord. The bin's contents dated to the week after Lily vanished. Highway data added pressure. North Carolina's toll cameras logged a gray rental sedan traveling west on I-40 near 12:18 a.m., August 25th. The return pass eastbound occurred at 9:02 p.m., August 25th. The odometer entries on Daniel Hargrove's contract matched that range. The rental's internal GPS recorded engine starts and stops, not location. The timing supported a long out and back run. A gas station clerk in Haywood County remembered a man paying cash for 2 coffees and a map on August 25th at 1:07 a.m. The receipt showed no name. The CCTV saved only 3 days. Investigators checked other stores along the route. A second clerk recalled a customer asking about unpaved turnouts near Harmon Den. The store deleted video after a week. Soil samples from Lily's Honda contained red clay with a specific mica content and trace magnetite. Samples from the service path behind the bar matched that profile. Samples from a pullout near Bent Creek shared the same mineral signature. The lean-to soil had additional charcoal and aluminum residue. That suggested recent burning of lightweight material, possibly packaging. No bone fragments were reported. Footwear impressions at the clearing were re-examined. The size 11 print had a hex stud in the heel. Investigators photographed a similar stud pattern on boots visible in Ryan Hargrove's July trail photos. Ryan said the boots were his brother's and that he borrowed them at times. He could not recall if he wore them in late August. He offered no purchase record. An analyst reviewed Lily's saved trail images and marked a faint rock spiral near a creek crossing. That spiral appeared again in one of Ryan's photos, taken days before Lily disappeared. The next grid line would cross that exact bend. In early 2009, a Buncombe County grand jury heard a tight summary of the case. They saw the Honda left in the back lot. They saw the MP3 player and the low-tide shirt from the lean-to. They heard about the prepaid phone funded by a cash reload at 6:03 p.m. on August 22, 2007. They saw the register ID match a lane Daniel Hargrove used weekly. They reviewed the rental car contract, the odometer notes, and the highway time stamps. They heard that Lily Hart's phone stopped at 8:31 p.m. on August 18 and never returned to the network. They voted to indict Daniel for second-degree murder and evidence tampering. Pre-trial moved fast. The defense filed to suppress cell site and toll records. They challenged the gift card logs and the prepaid activation file. They demanded a hearing on the forensic linguistics. The court held a Daubert review over 2 days. The state's expert explained why I am, phone, and spacing after 2 formed a consistent pattern. He walked through Lily's older messages and Daniel's writing samples. He noted the repeated misspelling of off as of. The defense expert called the differences subjective. The judge ruled the testimony admissible with limits and warned the jury would decide weight. Another motion targeted the lean-to evidence. The defense said the site was public and contaminated. The state answered with chain of custody logs and photos taken at collection. The court allowed the MP3 player and shirt, noting the DNA on the collar seam. The paracord fibers and duct tape strip remained in, pending foundation at trial. The footwear comparisons were limited to class traits, not a unique match. Bail was denied. The court cited risk of flight and the ongoing search for Lily. Subpoenas went out to the rental company, the big box store, and the phone reseller. A witness list named Karen and Mark Hart, the bandmates, the liquor store clerk, and the delivery driver. Ryan Hargrove received immunity for statements about shelters and gear, but not for false reporting. Jury selection was scheduled for January 2011. 2 years after Lily's last text, the case finally had a courtroom and a clock. Jury selection ended in early January 2011. 12 jurors and 2 alternates took their seats. The judge instructed them to weigh only the evidence. The state opened with a simple line: Lily Hart vanished on August 18, 2007, and her phone died at 8:31 p.m. They walked the jury through the Honda in the back lot, the lean-to in Bent Creek, and the low-tide shirt. A forensic analyst testified that Lily's DNA was on the torn collar seam. No body was recovered. The prosecutor said jurors would see how the timeline was altered after the fact. A linguistics expert explained Lily's writing style across hundreds of messages. She used I'm, I've, and phone. The 3 later texts used I am, I have, and phone, with unusual spacing after 2. The expert compared those features to Daniel Hargrove's messages and handwriting samples. He noted the repeated misspelling of off as of. He did not say Daniel authored the texts. He said the features were consistent with him and not consistent with Lily. The state then turned to money and miles. A store manager authenticated logs showing a cash reload at 6:03 p.m. on August 22. The terminal ID matched a register Daniel used weekly. The same reload funded a prepaid phone that later sent the suspect texts from out of state. A rental company custodian described Daniel's August 24 contract, unlimited miles for 2 days, with odometer readings showing a long run west and back. Highway timestamps on IE26 and IE40 matched that window. Daniel's primary phone went dark for 6 hours that first night. Defense counsel called the evidence circumstantial and said Lily left by choice. They argued the lean-to was public and the site compromised. A footwear examiner was limited to class traits and could not make an individual match. The defense expert said language patterns can shift and warned against overreading style. In rebuttal, the state showed Lily's prepaid studio time for late August and her August 19 work shift. A bandmate described plans set for that weekend. The judge charged the jury on no body cases and concealment as consciousness of guilt. After 10 hours, the jury found Daniel Hargrove guilty of second-degree murder and evidence tampering. He received life with a minimum of 18 years. Daniel never said where Lily is. The sentence arrived with no location. In February 2011, the court entered judgment, life with a minimum of 18 years for Daniel Hargrove. The order noted concealment as an aggravating factor. Detectives kept the file open for recovery. They requested seasonal searches when terrain shifted. In late 2012, a reservoir drawdown allowed a sonar sweep. Nothing surfaced. In spring 2013, a wildfire break exposed new ground near Bent Creek. Team sifted ash and screened soil. No remains were found. Karen and Mark Hart did not hold a public memorial. They left Lily's room intact. Each August 18th, they walked Hendersonville Road and left flowers where the Honda was found. They spoke at community meetings about missing persons and no body convictions. They asked for tips and warned against rumor. They did not contact Daniel. They said they would not give him leverage by asking where Lily was. The appeals came and went. In 2012, the appellate court affirmed the verdict, citing the timeline, the prepaid phone funding, and efforts to mislead. In 2014, a post-conviction petition failed. The court found no ineffective assistance and no new evidence. The parole reviews arrived later. In 2019, Daniel faced the board for the first time. He denied killing Lily and declined to discuss her location. The board cited lack of remorse and continued risk. Parole was denied. In 2021, he tried again with the same answers. Denied a second time. Investigators continued targeted searches based on tips. A 2020 anonymous note named a creek bend marked by a rock spiral. The grid extended there, and drones mapped the channel. Teams recovered only modern trash. A 2022 cadaver dog deployment along an old logging spur produced a brief alert near buried metal. Crews dug to a rusted drum filled with wire. No human remains were present. The lead went cold. A retired detective said the case still interrupts him. A song on the radio sends him back to a lot behind a bar. He replays the clock from 8:22 to 8:31 p.m. He reads the line where Lily's phone went silent and asks what moved in the dark. Karen keeps the blue folder on the desk and the spare key on the hook. She waits for one honest map, one plain sentence, one final return. Someone still holds the last mile.